You're biased.
I'm biased.
So what are we going to do about it?
Rules are important everywhere, in nature, in a household, in a small neighborhood, but especially in a state where millions of people lead different lives. The main job of the justice system is to keep the state safe by disciplining their citizens through reinforcement of rules and regulations. When someone breaches the law, it affects the harmony of an entire society. Hence, the justice system functions to provide retribution. So how does it work? To every court-handled crime, there are three main components: the prosecutor, the defendant, and the jurors who decide on the defendant's guilt or innocence. Theoretically, this is a sound system, but in practice, it gets problematic when biases, which can be ethnic, religious, or even personal, come into the mix. When this happens, the line between justice as a tool for fairness and a tool for self-interest becomes blurry. Cases of unfair use of justice in the court have had a long history, all the way from the Renaissance up to the present day. According to the Conversation.com's article on Prejudice in Justice Systems, jurors are often influenced by characteristics and background of defendants, like race, socioeconomic status, and even attractiveness. People are often stereotyped according to the majority. For example, in Indonesia, are the people of Islamic religion. They make the majority, and therefore they have the most influence over the political world and the government in Indonesia. Unfortunately, the existence of biases encourages people to judge basing on existing stereotypes, rather than the factual evidence collected. An example of a case akin to the culture of unfair justice in Indonesia ironically resides within a high power of politics. We know this as the Ahok blasphemy case. To summarize the case, Basuki Purnama, better known as Ahok, was the governor of Jakarta until recently. The Christian and Chinese ethnic governor has been one of the most committed reformers and effective administrators the capital had ever seen. In April of 2017, he lost the election for governor for a second term, which he could have begun in that October. Then on May 9, as the second election was nearing, he was convicted for blasphemy. Case in point being, claims that he misused verse 51 of the Al-Quran in one of his speeches, which he argued along with saying that people and his opposition had been abusing the Quranic verse to mislead others into not voting for him because it is a sin to elect a Christian or Jewish leader in the religion. In addition, the video used as evidence in the court was critically doctored, in which the judges also ignored. Moreover, the second election loss and his untimely trial were undeniably linked. The case as a whole is blurry, as the concept of verse 51 was said to be used by Ahok to mislead, or if it was misleading in the first place. Ahok's blasphemy counts stem from the video evidence of Ahok's speech used in court that had been previously abridged by a video editor. The doctored video helped the decision in court as it specifically removed the word pakai from his speech, which was uploaded to YouTube. This was important as the actual meaning of what Ahok said from verse 51 was being used by people to mislead, to that the verse itself was misleading in its nature. Thus, the court concluded that it was sufficient that Ahok had used the verse in connection with the concept of deception instead of insight, which in turn incited a degree of slander towards the Muslim community. Coincidentally, his opposition Anies Baswedan represented a Muslim party in Jakarta and won the election against him. An undeniable influence for the decision to this case was in fact the ethnic and religious biases that Indonesians are sensitive towards. Even though the judges know that the video is obviously edited, they still managed to ignore the fact stating that the police forensics team examined the footage and found no evidence of editing. So why would they do this? Well, as I said before, many conservative Indonesians perceived the notion that having a non-Muslim as their mayor was wrong. Thus, in combination with the video, many riots by conservative Islam groups about Ahok insulting Islam occurred across the capital. Violence and destruction occurred. Hence, to prevent that, the court had no choice but to sentence 2 years on charges of blasphemy to the honorable and factually innocent man. When power is delegated to a person, it could easily be abused. Does power and justice have an equal stance in our justice system? Or is one weighing down the other?